Hi there, and welcome to the Chaotic Business Podcast, where we do things a little bit different. I'm not about to give you the perfect business blueprint or tell you how many times to post on Instagram this week, because frankly, I don't think that's what makes good business owners successful. Don't get me wrong, there's going to be plenty of strategy here on this podcast, but it'll be more inspirational and less prescriptive, because you didn't start your own business just for somebody to tell you what to do. Welcome to the Chaotic Business Podcast. Let's get started. Hi there, everybody. I am so excited to welcome you for the very first episode of the Chaotic Business Podcast. Hi, I'm so glad to have you here. And I figured today we should talk about what in the world I even mean by chaotic business. And I just want to provide so much validation to all of you out there who run a chaotic business or want to run a business, but you're afraid to because you know you have a tendency to be chaotic. To be honest, when I first started my business, I was so chaotic that I didn't even realize I was chaotic. So I started my first business. I have two of them, but I started my first business in October of 2020, and I decided to start a business, and I had my WordPress site up and ready to go, and I had my first digital product designed all within, I think, a week. And I've only gotten faster as time has gone by. So I am a chaotic business owner. And when I say chaotic, I don't mean lackadaisical. I don't mean I don't care. Sometimes people interpret it that way. As someone professionally diagnosed with ADHD, I'm really used to people assuming that my chaos means thoughtlessness, and that's just like not what it is. To be honest, I was talking to a client of mine earlier today. What it feels like is like I have two modes. I have stop and I have go. And that's it. There's very little in between. And that can create a bit of a chaotic business environment, but I don't think it's bad. I don't think you can't work with that. And I don't think you need to spend all of your business time, like time working on your business, spent trying to fix that like it's a problem. I think it's better to lean into it. Not like, oh, just only press the gas pedal and like only be in go mode and like never be in stop mode. Like that's what I used to think. I went through some phases in my business, but I thought for a while there, probably around like 2022-ish, I was like, okay, I just need to go all the time in order to fix all the problems in my business, right? I was like, I just need to go, and just stop with this like weird stop mode, like just do away with that. Yeah, that led to a lot of crashing and burning because I was like a bike without brakes going down a hill. Like eventually you just build up too much speed and you crash. And it's only been recently, probably over the last year or so, that I have learned to intentionally choose slow activities in order to slow my brain down a little bit. This podcast is actually a really good example of this like stop and go mode. I did not know I was going to have this podcast. I had no idea that I even wanted a podcast 48 hours ago. 48 hours ago. And now I have the podcast art. I bought this whole little set. This chair, by the way, like how cute, right? This chair and this cute little table, $50 on Facebook Marketplace. Like, hell yeah. Anyway, I bought stuff for a cute little set. I made the podcast art. I produced the trailer, and now I'm producing episode 1. This is an example of go for sure. But last night when I could tell my brain was spinning, and it just wanted to keep going, but I knew I needed to rest. I needed to be present with my family. I just needed to chill. I did things that I knew would slow me down. So let's see, what did I do last night that slowed me down a little bit? I picked up toys. That's a very physical, grounding thing for me to do. I have 3 kids, and so there's always toys to pick up. But like picking up toys is very simple. We have baskets that they go in. It doesn't require a lot of thought, but it does require me to use my body, which can be very grounding to me. So I picked up toys. I took an edible, which I don't know if I'm allowed to talk about that on YouTube. Hopefully that's okay. But that really slows me down in like a very pleasant way. I actually took like half of one, so it wasn't even like, because it was like a Wednesday. I'm not trying to be crazy out here. I just am trying to get my brain to slow down. And that's not something I do on a regular basis. I think the last time I had one was like 3 months ago. So, it's just something every now and again that is helpful to me. And I don't want to I guess I'm a big fan of transparency. I don't ever want to be like lying to you about what I do to slow my brain down. To be honest, sometimes that's part of it. Let's see. And basically I thoughtfully chose to disengage from all of the swirling thoughts going on about the podcast and all the excitement. Because here's the thing that people, I think, don't talk about enough when it comes to like being a really chaotic person or having ADHD is like, it's really different from anxiety in the sense that a lot of my friends who have anxiety, they can't stop thinking about the negative stuff, right? They catastrophize and they panic and they just can't stop thinking about all the horrible things in the world. And I get that, I do. But for me, sometimes I can't stop thinking about all the good stuff, like all the things I'm excited for. And I want to make them happen right now, like go right now. And sometimes things just can't work that way. You have to sleep, other people have to sleep, And so it's hard, but helpful to intentionally slow down, I suppose. Hey there, everybody. I am interrupting your podcast episode really quickly because I want to make sure that you are signed up for our next Community Business Oracle session. These are community monthly meetups where we talk shop and pull tarot cards and hang out with each other, honestly, because running your own business is amazing, but it can get a little bit lonely. So if you want to see when our next meetup is, just go to the show notes or the description, and hopefully I will see you there. So where was I going with all of this? Just the fact that business can be chaotic and it can work, right? Like my chaos is the reason my business even exists. I think if I wasn't chaotic, I think I would get too swept up in trying to make it perfect, right? But my chaos means that I can get an idea, decide it's a good idea, do the idea, and promote the idea all within 48 hours. And I think there's something really magical about that, right? Not that you have to be chaotic to make your business work either, but I guess I'm just frustrated by the number of like business coaches and stuff I see talking about like calm the chaos and all this stuff. And it's like, no, if I calm the chaos, there will be no business. And I don't say that in the sense of like, I need the constant chaos and I'm constantly switching my offers and all of that, because I'm really not. I've been offering the Get Shit Done program in my other business for, I think, since June of 2021. So this will be the 4th year now. Like I think there's a really fine balance between a chaotic approach and a chaotic content, right? I really enjoy a chaotic container, but what goes in the container is like consistent, right? So like if I'm baking a cake, I'm not going to like put everything in the kitchen cupboards in the cake. I'm going to follow a recipe. But when it comes time to decorate that cake, I'm going to let whimsy call to my heart, And I guess that's kind of what I mean. Decorating a cake makes it seem like chaos is what goes into it afterwards. What if it's more like when I decide to bake that cake? I will bake a cake when the feeling calls to me. The thing is, though, you have to cultivate an environment where whimsy can call to you. Because this is something I see a lot. People are like, oh, I'll do it when I feel motivated or when I feel inspired, right? A lot of us creative types are like that. We're like, I'll do it when I feel inspired. But then we never feel inspired and we're like, why am I not doing the thing that I want to be doing? I don't understand. Like, what's wrong with me? And it's like, well, you're waiting for something that's not coming because you haven't made room for it in your life. Like, for a long time, I said I wanted to write fiction, right? Because I wrote fiction all growing up, and then it just kind of like, I decided I wasn't good at it, honestly, is what happened. And so I stopped writing it, and then I decided I wanted to write fiction again, and then I just wasn't doing it. And I was like, why am I not doing this? And I think it was for a couple of reasons. I mean, the main thing, though, being like, I wasn't making room for that activity. I didn't set aside any time to write. And because fiction writing requires like a lot of time, I feel like. I didn't clear the path in my mind for like, you are good at fiction writing. I didn't do any of that mindset work. So I was facing all the same barriers, but just deciding I was going to do it. Like, you can do that if you want, but it's going to be hard. So I think when it comes to running a business, it is okay to be chaotic. I guess that is the thesis of this episode. It is okay to be chaotic. I think there is a chaotic way to do things that makes sense and is viable, and you can be totally successful in it. But that doesn't mean we can be pure chaos all the time. That's what's gotten me in trouble, like coming up with ideas and executing them 48 hours later. This time with this podcast, I reached out to several friends. I was like, hey, is this a good idea? Hey, can you be like my reality check? Like, does this make sense? Do you think this is going to move the business forward? Do you think, instead of just like, I'm going to do whatever I want and like, then having it bite me in the ass, which is like not something we want, right? I almost said we want to make as few mistakes as possible in business, but I actually don't think that's true. We want to make as many successes as possible in business. And that you can do as many mistakes as you want along the way, but we want as many wins as we can get, right? And I hope this podcast is a win for you. I hope that listening to this, you just feel like, hell yeah, you're right. I can do this my way. You can do this your way. I think so many business coaches out there, and I'm not trying to knock anyone in particular, by the way. I love business coaches. I have like 3 and they're all wonderful. But I get frustrated sometimes because it feels like they're trying to control for the uncontrollable. Does that make sense? Like, they're trying to reduce business down to a science when in reality it's a magic. They're trying to turn everything into variables that you can mess with, like it's buttons and levers on a sound mixer. But there's always going to be certain things you can't control in business. And I think that for people who are naturally chaotic, that's actually our superpower. Because there are aspects of ourselves we can't control. And when we take those elements, the elements of ourselves we can't control and the elements of business that we can't control, and we combine them, I think you get something really fucking cool. Really fucking cool. And I think trying to fix your chaos or reduce how chaotic you are in order to try to control every variable, I think it's inevitably going to fail. First of all, because you're not being yourself. And I think that's always the best person for you to be. But also because you're trying to control for something that just can't always be controlled. Your chaos and certain elements of business, So I think that's all I have to say for today, to be honest. I've been yapping for a minute now. But basically, I just want you to know that it's okay to run a chaotic business. And I think it can really work. I mean, I've seen it really work. And my hope is that as this podcast goes on, I can show you all of the ways that chaos makes your business better. So thank you so much for listening, and I'll talk to you all next time. Thank you so much for listening, learning, and most importantly, implementing with us today. Go forth and take some big, messy action.